Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where we here are obsessed with clean girl, aka no makeup, and today I wanted to do a drugstore version for you using some affordable makeup products. I have some faves that have been living in my makeup collection forever that I've used 1,000 times that I think would be perfect to do a clean girl makeup with, as well as a few little new products that we've been testing out. So clean girl makeup is my favorite makeup to do. It's perfect for every day and it's a beautiful base to just solidify and get really good at so that you can build on top of it and add some more extra drama and depth for when you want to feel a little extra fabulous or extra done up. But the clean girl makeup is where we need to start, which is pretty much just giving your skin an all over glow, enhancing your natural features that you have, and just giving yourself an overall clean and polished feel for the day. So that's the makeup that we're going with today. Let us begin. I've already done my skincare. I'm going to start with the base. And I have to say, one of the products that have been tried and true for years and years and years, ever since it came out, is the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion. This has been in my collection for eons and eons. Whenever I think about what my go-to drugstore products are, the Lumi Glotion is one of those products that just kind of never misses. Depending on what shade you're using, it's just one of those products that adds a beautiful glowing base to the skin without having any big chunky bits of glitter that sit in your pores and look very much not cute. And back in the day, I used to just load up on the primers. I would have used this as well as a hydrating primer on top of my skincare and my serums, my creams that I've already put on, and then gone over that with a base. Whereas now I've definitely simplified and pared back on my skincare, and then I just love to use like a glowing primer to just add that layer of barely there glow underneath your skin, which just brings natural light and luminosity. While we're here, actually, I'm gonna take a little bit of that on my exposed limbs right now because a little highlight and glow never hurt, and you don't need to buy separate products for glow on your body. You can use whatever highlighter glowing product you have and just... You like my shoulders? Thanks, they're glowing. So now that even the satellites can see us, I'm gonna go in with the Revlon Illuminance Serum Tint. This is a product that is new to my world. I've been testing it out. I wanna give you my final thoughts at the end of the month, once I've had a little bit more time to play with it, but so far so good. I like what I'm seeing. And when it comes to clean girl makeup or my natural everyday makeup, not everyone loves to use a foundation or an all over tint. And I think something that's really popular is the no foundation makeup, and then they just go in with like pounds and pounds of concealer. But at the end of the day, it just depends on your skin type, your skin concerns, and what you've got going on. For me, I don't necessarily have like a ton of breakouts that I'm needing to spot conceal and like put heavy coverage on top of, but I do have a lot of discoloration in my face. So I do have a lot of redness in my cheeks, I've got a lot of veins, and I do have an uneven skin tone. So for me, I do always like to have that layer that just goes all over the face and is trying to even out the skin tone and make it all look delicious and glowy at the same time. And using these lighter bases like tints, BB creams, tinted moisturizers, those things, having a light base gives you that effect. It evens out the skin tone without adding on a ton of coverage, and then you can just go in with your concealer, spot conceal if you have breakouts, or use a lighter concealer to brighten up the face. It just depends on what your personal needs are when it comes to your skin, but for me, I definitely always love to have some kind of base to wash all over, and this serum tint honestly is really pretty. And even though we did put the Lumi Glotion on underneath, the serum tint itself just has that natural glow finish as well, which is so nice for natural everyday makeup. Don't forget to take it down your neck too. Listen, if you are pale like me, then there's a high possibility that your neck is much lighter, always, than the rest of your face. So when you are matching your skin tone, just don't forget to take it down the neck as well. Even though there's some people who say to kind of go in between, you have the color of your face, the color of your chest and your arms, and then there's the color of the neck. And to match it, you want to do something in between. I personally just don't mind putting 10 pounds of product on my neck and just attempting to make it all even. So now that our skin tone is looking nice and even and glowing, I'm going to continue on with the cream layers. I think that cream products in general have just been an ongoing obsession of my own and everyone else on the internet. And I've really been loving doing like a kind of partial underpainting technique. So going in with cream products, this is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This is not a new product by any means, but it's a product that you just really can't beat the e.l.f. prices for one. And their formulas are so good. Anytime I use any of the e.l.f. Putty products, whether it be the bronzers or the putty blushes, I'm always like, wow, you really are that girl. This is so pretty. And the shade Tan Lines for me is just, it's kind of a perfect match. So love to apply this pretty much all over my face, but I'm using this shade because it's kind of in between a contour and a bronzer. I do like to minimize my steps when I'm doing my everyday makeup, and you can go in with a separate contour and a separate bronzer if you wanted to, but sometimes just to make it easy, you can just find a shade that's not too warm and not too cool and just use it for both. So I'm applying the cream bronzer basically everywhere where I want my skin to be warmed up as well as chiseled. So my cheekbones, I'm not drawing a line, I'm very much going like above the cheekbones, and I kind of blend it into my eyelid area. Just so that there's no gaps here, which I think just looks really nice. Very naturally tanned and sun-kissed, if you will. We just lost the sun, so sorry. Anyway, then I also love to take that down the nose. Down the bridge of my nose and just right into the brow. And always making sure that you put some kind of bronzer on the nose because that is where the sun naturally hits. The nose, you can't miss it. The sun will find you. You can be as precise or not when it comes to your nose contour. I pretty much just like to make sure that I get that warmth all over, and then I'm fine with that. And then once that's all blended, we have a very natural bronzed / chiseled look to the skin. Then I'm gonna go in with cream blush. There's a lot of blushes I love. Like I said, I love the e.l.f. putty blushes, but I think one of my favorite, like more recent discoveries from the drugstore is the Pixie on the Glow blushes. This one in particular is in the shade Fleur, which is just a really natural soft pink, which I love. And you don't have to go in directly with the product. You can apply it onto the brush first, but I think this is like a soft enough formula that it just really easily blends into the skin. So you can also just use your fingers. If you're really good at blending products in with your fingers and you're a little bit more patient than I am, then you can use that. You can also use a sponge or you can use a brush. Just whatever your preferred method is, you can do so. I personally like to use a brush, and I'm pretty much just taking that across my cheeks and over my nose, and then also blending it a little bit onto the eyelid as well, just so we get all very cohesive blends over here and there's no like stark lines of separation between the bronzer, the foundation, and the blush. Now Kevin Kodra tells us to take the blush onto the forehead as well. That's something that I'm like still kind of getting used to a little bit. I don't know if I'm fully on board with that method yet, even though I love Kevin's methods. He has magical hands when it comes to makeup, but I'll try it for him. I'll just put a little bit up there, but I do feel like on me it looks a little wrong. I don't know, I might change my mind and then suddenly fall in love with it, but you can do that if you want. I personally just like to really hug my entire cheek area and just make sure it's all kissed with the blush. Flushed with the blush would have been better there. And then at this point, we're gonna complete our little underpainting and we're gonna finish all of this off with a concealer. Now, one of my favorite concealers for doing this like clean girl, no makeup is the NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealer. Love that one, it's a constant in my makeup collection. However, we also just recently tried the Revlon Color Stay Skin Awaken Caffeine and Vitamin C. And this one's a little bit lighter than my NYX one, so I do think I'm gonna use a little bit of this. I'm just gonna put some onto my hand. I'm gonna use a little bit of that because it's slightly lighter than the base that we've got going on. And I do wanna have a little bit of brightening underneath my eyes because I'm not using like separate correctors or anything. So having a little bit of that light there will kind of be nice and helpful in brightening up that whole area. And I really want to embrace the Mary Phillips method with the 3 little dots. So really trying to take a less is more approach here with the concealer. I'm just using a small eyeshadow brush to apply that, but I really, love to use my Morphe Makeup by Ariel brush, and Mary Phillips was also using this to blend out her concealer. So if it's Mary Phillips approved too, then I'm a happy go. So I'm gonna go between using this and my finger and just push that concealer. Wow, that just got so dark. I'm so sorry. That is the joy of filming in natural light on a cloudy day. What can I say? I am so sorry. Anyway, going between the two, you can also just use your finger. It doesn't really matter, whatever your preferred method is again. And we're just brightening up this under eye, and it's amazing. Every time I do this, I'm always like, oh, it's just not enough. Like usually I pack on quite a bit of concealer, but then when I blend it all in and I'm like, wow, it still works. Those professional makeup artists really know what they're talking about, and you really don't need a lot, especially if you're like me and you've got very wrinkly under eyes. You just don't want to be caking up the product under there. So try to use less. If you want to add more, you can always add more after. It's easier to add than it is to take away, but just starting out small just really helps with the no makeup philosophy. Now I am actually going to take a little bit of the NYX Serum Concealer because I do have a little bundle of zits right there. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this right on top of that and just minimize that spot a little bit. Then I'm going to take the same and just use that to conceal the rest of the spots. Now I do happily kind of embrace my natural skin texture and whatever kind of like spots and whatnot. Like these spots on my chin, they're a little bit red, but I don't really mind because, again, when you pile on so much makeup and you have that full coverage look, I just find for me it ends up kind of looking worse throughout the day if I pile on a lot of makeup. So if I just let a little bit of the tone peek through, it's not really noticeable. At the end of the day, if you have a zit, if you have a pimple, if you have a lump, the lump is gonna be there no matter what. So if I just kind of address the face as a whole, spot conceal any redness, the rest of it can just live and do its thing. That's okay. Just do a little bit of that concealer down the nose as well. Now I'm gonna go back in with my brush and just kind of pat this all out. Just make sure that everything is blended and looking nice. I'm gonna pat down my nose with my finger. I'll go back in with the blush brush and just run that over top as well. And then we're gonna set with powder, because as much as I love to bask in the glow, if you're applying concealer and you don't want it to budge and you need it to last all day, you've gotta set with powder. I was never a powder girl in the past. This is something that in recent years I've really grown to appreciate, but especially underneath the eyes, if I don't wanna look like really oily and shiny and tired throughout the day, I need to set it with powder. So take a little puff or use a brush. I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible foundation in a powder, and I'm just going to press that underneath my eyes. And when I press it underneath my eyes, I also just go like right up onto my eyelid, that little inner corner there, and you can see how instantly brightened it is. Can you in this light? There's just such a difference. When you set the under eyes with powder, it kind of minimizes all those pores. Like for me, I'm really porous right here underneath my eye and beside my nose, and the powder just really helps to give that blurred out, really soft effect on the skin. And that's what I like to do. And that's why, especially underneath the eyes, I've really grown to appreciate and require setting the under eyes. Now for the rest of the face, I'm just gonna take a brush and just really softly set in the rest. I don't wanna use the powder puff on the rest. Sometimes I do if I'm feeling like extremely lazy, but for the most part, I like the rest of my face to be able to move. You know, I've got a lot of movement in my face here. The forehead has not seen Botox, and sometimes she is fully mobile. And sometimes if I go overboard with the powder, it can just look a little cakey throughout the day. So we'll just use a light touch. We're not done with the base yet, my friends. It takes a lot to look natural, doesn't it? I am gonna do a final dusting of a powder bronzer. This is the Revlon Skin Lights bronzer. Just gonna load a brush up with that and just really lightly apply that all over. This will give a nice softness to the skin, but it also kind of acts like a setting powder on the rest of the products, if you're wanting it to last all day, which for my everyday makeup, I don't really want to be all that fussed with my makeup throughout the day, so I do like it to last. So I'm getting ready in the morning, I'm putting makeup on my face. I still want to be looking cute by the end of the night, so setting with powder for that reason is necessary. We'll also take a little touch of this powder bronzer onto the eyelids as well. And we'll do a touch of brown mascara, which is one of my favorite things to do for everyday makeup. A lot of the times I also opt for no mascara, but sometimes when the rest of the makeup is looking so natural and smoothed out, it's nice to have a little touch of extra drama on the eyes. But let me tell you, there's nothing more blissful than on those days when I'm not wearing mascara and I go throughout my day and I'm tired at night and I go to wash my face and I'm like, oh, I don't have to remove the mascara. That is a treat, and I know so many of you agree with me. So if you're not someone who ever goes without mascara, I encourage you to try it for a little bit. Sometimes it can be very freeing. For the lips, I'm gonna use a little bit of the e.l.f. Cream Glide Lip Liner. And I'll do a little bit of overdrawing on my lips because I do like my lips to be a bit more plump, and then I'll take my pinky and just rub it into the lip to make sure that it looks as natural as possible. And now you can just go on top of this with a gloss. Sometimes I really do like to go in with a little bit of a pinkier lipstick. And this is the L'Oreal Glow Paradise Pastel Exaltation number 110 little lipstick. But it's like their glowy lipstick. Very hydrating. It's kind of like a hybrid between a lipstick and a lip gloss. And as the name would suggest, the shade is a little bit of a lighter pastel-y pink, which blended into that lip liner I think is so nice. And then we can top that with a gloss. This is the e.l.f. Pink Quartz Gloss, which is a fabulous dupe for any lip oil or lip gloss on the market. They're minty fresh and delicious, and they just add that gorgeous glass shine to the lips, which all clean girl makeup looks need a little gloss, don't they? And that, my friends, completes this makeup look. This is my clean girl, everyday natural makeup look using drugstore makeup products. This is the type of makeup that I love to do. It is my favorite makeup. It is the makeup that I feel the most beautiful, the most natural, and the most me in. And when it comes to my everyday makeup, I always love trying new products and new techniques so that I'm always improving upon my go-to makeup looks. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the drugstore rendition of this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, as well as any of your favorite go-to products for your natural everyday makeup look, or any techniques that you think I should try. Thank you so much for being here and for watching. I'll see you all soon for a new video. Bye!